We have several species that are found in Zimbabwe, and we also have got three very key important wetlands, the Driefontein grasslands, part of the Zambezi Valley, and northwest of Zimbabwe in protected areas. So among some of the species, even the storks, the ciconias, we also have the slaty egret, although it's only found in the extreme western part of Zimbabwe. Those are among some of the species that do pass through Zimbabwe. When I came on, initially my expectation was to know more about the agreement and to see how Zimbabwe can fit into the interesting African initiative and how Zimbabwe can be part of the plan of action for Africa, not as an independent contracting party, but as part of the bigger flyway group. Zimbabwe has got a very strong legislation, and it's going to enhance that legislation through the ratification of the agreement, because we believe that when the lists of the species come out with the list for the column A species that are found in Zimbabwe comes out, it is going to be much easier for us to identify the gaps and to look for the areas where that legislation needs to be strengthened, but there is legislation to protect the birds. I can see that there's a gap in the general public's awareness of the species passing through Zimbabwe. And from here, I would really like to maybe work with the AEWA Secretariat in developing an awareness program, not only for the implementing agencies, but for the public as well. Hunting is not an issue. Hunting of waterbirds is not an issue in Zimbabwe, definitely not. The major issue, in my opinion, would be issues related to habitat loss. I picked out certain areas like the conservation, the need to look at the legislation. I also looked at awareness, the information on the agreement as some of the key issues that came out of the plan of action for Africa. But as we move forward, we would also need to think about how some of those activities are going to be funded, because there is a big gap in resources for new programs per se. While some of the projects, some of the programs can be incorporated into the existing conservation efforts, but there might be some new ones that probably would need more funding. And I think we probably need to look as to where those resources can be found. But that plan of action for Africa is a very interesting plan, and it's going to be well embraced by the Africans. And African contracting parties are very enthusiastic to implement that plan. So is Zimbabwe.